Okay, we'll look at some of the homework problems that are in section 13-1. All right, let's take a look at the first problem. You want to complete the following, where you have 260 inches is equal to how many feet? 260 inches is equal to how many feet? Well, we already know that 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. That's pretty much already known. So for 260 inches, using dimensional analysis here, we're converting from inches, so here the inches would go on the bottom, and we're converting to feet, so feet would go on top. Now we said 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, so that 1 would go on top where the foot is, and the 12 would go on the bottom where the inches is. So in this case, you have 260 times 1 foot over 12 inches. As you can see, the inches will divide out. You'll be left with 260 over 12 feet. Now we're going to have to reduce 260 over 12 as a simplified fraction, which would be, in this case, 65 over 3. So 260 inches will be 65 over 3 feet, because they do want you to type either the answer as an integer or a simplified fraction. And as you see here, it won't come out to be an integer, so it has to be a fraction in simplest form. All right, number 2, indicate the metric unit of measurement that you would like to express, that you would use to express the following. In this case here, the length of a spoon. Okay. Usually the length of a spoon would be something as a unit in centimeters, because meters and kilometers would be too large and centimeters would be a little bit too small. Millimeters would be too small. So centimeters would be the more appropriate unit of measure to use according to the metric system. All right, number 3 is to complete the following. Here you get 0.299 millimeters. That's equal to how many meters? Okay. Now here we can use this conversion chart right here, because we're converting from millimeters to meters. Here's millimeters right here, and we're going all the way to meters. Here, from millimeters to meters, that's 3 places to the left. So in 0.299, we want to move this decimal point to the left 1, 2, 3 places. Because from millimeters to meters is 3 places to the left, so that means we need to move this decimal point 3 places to the left. And in this case, we're going to have to add 2 zeros in front of it. So 0.299 millimeters in meters would be 0.002. Actually, it's 3 zeros, and then 299. So it's 0.000299 as your answer. Okay, next problem. Can the following be lengths of the sides of a triangle? Okay, here we have to use what they call the triangle inequality theorem, where it says that the sum of the first 2 has to be greater than the third, or the second and the third has to be greater than the first, and then the first and the third must be greater than the second. So the sum of 2 sides of any triangle must be greater than the length of the third side. So if I add 11 plus 12, that must be greater than 20. And if I do that, I'll have 32, which is greater than 20. Now I must add the second and the third. It must be greater than the first. So if I add 12 and 20, that must be greater than 11. In this case, 32 is greater than 11, which is correct. And then the first and the third must be greater than the second. So in this case here, 11 plus 20 must be greater than 12. add 11 and 20 together, you're going to get 31, which is greater than 12. So in this case here, yes, these three sides, 11, 12, and 20 centimeters, would be the lengths of the side of that triangle. Okay. Number 5, find the radius of the circle with the given circumference. Okay, we know the circumference is 6 centimeters. And the radius of the circle, well, the formula for finding the circumference of any circle would be 2 pi times the radius. So in this case here, we're going to have the radius, which is 6. So it'll be 6 is equal to 2 pi r. And then you're going to get that r by itself by dividing both sides by 2 pi. And when we do that, we'll have, in this case, r is equal to, now if I do reduce 6 over 2, that's going to be 3 on top with pi on the bottom. So 3 pi represents the radius of the circle. And they want you to type in the exact answer using pi as needed. So the radius will be actually 3 over pi. Okay. All right, number 6 is this. All right, if a circle has the dimensions given, determine its circumference. In this case here, we have part A, which is the 11-foot diameter. And you want to find out what the circumference is. Okay. The diameter is given, so the circumference of a circle with the diameter given is pi times the diameter. And in this case here, it's 11, so it'll be pi times 11, or just simply 11 pi. And we're going to leave the answer in terms of pi, because they want us to type in the exact answer using pi as needed. So the circumference here will be 11 pi feet. Okay, and then part B is the circumference is how many feet? Part B, we got 7 over pi feet as a radius. So in this case here, the radius is given, so we have to use the formula, the circumference formula that calls for the radius, which is 2 pi r. As we're given a 7 over pi foot radius. So in this case here, it'll be C is equal to 2 pi times the radius, which is 7 over pi. And then these pi's will divide out, and you're just left with 2 times 7, which is 14. So the circumference is just simply 14 feet, which is going to be part B as your answer.